Udah.
Sayyidina Sayyidina wa Maulana wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, saya sampaikan rasa hormat dan terima kasih kami kepada Sekjen BKSTM Prof. Aryo Sunarbaskoro, kepada seluruh pengurus dan keluarga BKSTM yang telah mempercayai Yunan, khususnya Departemen Teknik Mesin, menjadi tuan rumah event. Ibu Ketua Departemen Ketua
Sampaikan oleh Ketua Blok saya catat tadi terdapat 219 total artikel di mana 120-nya ikut Isaime dan 96-nya ikut yang Snttm. Kita beri aplaus kepada Bapak Ibu semuanya. Semoga melalui seminar ini lahir ide-ide inovasi kolaboratif dan jejaring yang semakin kuat antar anggota BKSDM. Mari kita jadikan forum ini sebagai wadah ilmu, inspirasi, dan solusi nyata bagi lingkungan kita. Terakhir, kami sampaikan apresiasi yang sebesar-besarnya dan terima kasih yang setinggi-tingginya kepada panitia penyelenggara yang telah bekerja keras dengan baik, dengan penuh dedikasi dan ketelitian. Semoga Bapak Ibu semuanya kebaikannya dibalas oleh Allah SWT. Kepada semua hadirin, tamu dan undangan yang berbahagia, tentunya tak ada gading yang tak retak. Anak nagari menangkap ikan. Ikan disimpan di dalam tulang. Jika kurang, tolong ditinggalkan. Yang baik dibawa pulang. Jadi kalau ada yang kurang-kurang Bapak Ibu, disimpan saja. Tapi cerita-cerita bagus kita di sini, kita bawa pulang ke rumah kita masing-masing nantinya. Buru-buru ini terbang ke ladang. Hingga bersejenak di atas dahan. Jika ada salah dan kurang, mohon dan ampun kami mintakan. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Universitas Andalas, Ketua Pelaksana Isaime Snttm, Guru Besar dan jajaran keynote speakers yang telah hadir langsung di Hotel Snttm Premier Hotel Kota Padang untuk dapat bergabung bersama kami dan melakukan peresmian terhadap International Symposium Isaime dan Snttm 2025. Baik, Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, kami mohon untuk dapat dipimpin oleh Wakil Dekan 1 Fakultas Teknik Universitas Andalas didampingi jajaran pimpinan. Dan bersama kita saksikan ini dia peresmian dari Isaime dan SNTTM dalam hitungan 3, 2, satu. Dan dengan foto bersama. Nah, itu dapat berfoto dengan seluruh hadirin sekalian, boleh dapat kembali dan tentunya bisa berbaris di depan, dan kami mengundang Bapak Ibu hadirin untuk dapat berdiri di tempat. Kembali kami mengundang jajaran pimpinan untuk dapat berdiri dan kita berfoto bersama dengan seluruh hadirin dan peserta dari Isaime dan SNTTM 2025. Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Kita akan mengambil foto bersama dan inilah momen luar biasa dari pembukaan Isaime dan SNTTM 2025. Boleh kita lihat dalam hitungan. Jadi semua terbaik Bapak Ibu semuanya dalam hitungan. 3, 2, 1. Boleh berikan komandonya Bapak Ibu, kita kepalkan tangan dan berikan komando ke depan kamera dalam hitungan. 3, 2, 1. Sekali lagi boleh minang kabarnya Bapak Ibu, minang kabarnya dalam hitungan. 3, 2, 1. Mari kita beri tepuk tangan sekalian. Silakan untuk kembali ke tempat. Dan ini luar biasa sekali ya Dewa, kita lihat bahwa seluruh hadirin yang berbahagia senantiasa memberikan sumbangsi dan kolaborasi yang luar biasa. Dan tentunya tidak hanya itu, kita ucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada seluruh sponsorship dan juga partnership yang senantiasa mendukung acara dari Isaime dan juga SNTTM 2025. Terima kasih kepada LPPM Universitas Andalas, PT Semen Padang, dan terima kasih kepada PT PLN Persero serta Telkom Indonesia.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give it applause for this incredible session. How beautiful and joyful this moment to celebrate this. Minangkabau culture has the symbolizes of happiness and joyful.
More than just entertainment, it symbolizes presence. How beautiful Minangkabau tribes culture that always protect the Islamic and Minangkabau value. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention for the special show of Media. Tingkat serunai.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our keynote speaker session. And to lead this session, please welcome our moderator, Bapak Ismet Mulyadi, STM, PhD.
Kalau pakai outputnya kasih kode dulu, karena pakai itu. Pakai mikrofon. Musik suara.
It will be guide you and build the communication between all of the participants and the keynote speaker of this conference. On behalf of Snttm, in cooperation with the Mechanical Engineering Universities, it's my pleasure to announce you only welcome to this conference. The sixth international symposium on the advances in mechanical engineering. Kawasan Padang, Sumatera.
For this year, we have a TV. At least if you are going to what goes into thank you. Where we however figure we will from the top about the way and share the giving knowledge about the area of the community. The first one is forgetting. The first one will come from Slayton being of the completing faculty, University of Malaysia. The second one from Professor Denmark, of Slavat. The third one from pemilihan gue bahwa momen dan mau lebih baik. I think while waiting for the next video, make a connection with Professor Andalas.
Cek satu dua.
Okay, first, that in the book. So I would like to invite Professor Zaitun to give a speech about sustainable intelligence harnessing AI to engineer a greener future. Please welcome Professor Zaitun to join me on stage. All right. So can we give big applause to Professor Zaitun?
Thank you, Mr. Director. Honorable Rector of University Andalas, Chair of the Conference, Ibu Honorable, all the rectors, deans, deputy deans, professors, the committee of the conference, ladies and gentlemen, today, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay.
Virtual kamera.
Dan soalan dari Johor ke Padang, terima kasih di atas sambutan. Okay, so again, thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, I will start to share with everyone. The title is basically focusing on my area, which is artificial intelligence. But of course, we are going to see how it is relevant and connected to the field of all the engineers here, the mechanical engineers. So we put the title as Sustainable Intelligence, Harnessing AI to Engineer a Greener Future. So this, I believe, will go in line with what is the theme of the assembly and also the convention focus. And again, my name is Isaime. I am from University of Malaysia in Johor, the southern state of Malaysia. Okay, next. So the focus of the sharing today will be basically on what are the challenges that is being faced by, of course, specifically the mechanical engineers and everyone, and how do you make this sustainable solution, whatever the focus as the solution. And related to AI, how actually AI affects the transformation on the mechanical engineering field. And what are among the applications that we see mostly affected or infected by the technology of AI? And what are the challenges when we talk about AI? And of course, we have
with the green team. And when we are engrossed with this AI, how do we make sure that it is a responsible AI, that we are actually embedded in the solutions? And how do we expect to see the future-ready engineers with this AI in mind? And again, talking about AI, of course, we cannot run away from how this will affect, the humanity aspect. Yeah? And we want this intelligence to be developed, to be conducted with responsible. Okay, next. Okay, before that, maybe I believe many of you have not been to Johor, to Malaysia. So I have my two colleagues from UTM, Dr. Azura and Pak Apri. Of course, he is from here, originally Minang. And he is my S3 student, very diligent one. A good future leader of Minang, Padang. Okay, so we have 3 campuses. Kuala Lumpur is the city campus, and we are from Johor, the main campus, and we have another one in the education hub, Pagoh, also Johor. So we would like to welcome everyone to, have a visit, and we look forward for the future collaboration. Okay, next. So this is basically the facts and figures of our university. We have 30,000+ students, and the international is almost 5,000, and Indonesia has been one of the top contributor, sending students to do S1, S2, and also S3 studies. Okay, so this is where we are, close to Johor, about 1 hour from Singapore. So if you plan to go to Singapore for a visit, we can have a discussion to collaborate in Johor. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, we are a research university, so research is actually our bread and butter. So we have been assessed annually with the QS ranking, and the latest, we are happy to say that we have actually increased from 181 rank to 153 in the world university ranking. So we really look forward to collaborate with any of the universities in Indonesia, particularly to expand our research and also, of course, academic side. Okay, next. So again, going back to the title of the sharing talk, maybe we start with this term. But I believe that almost, or maybe everyone here is well versed of artificial intelligence, and maybe just to coin in a very brief idea. So we would like to say that artificial intelligence is artificially created. We create the artificial solution based on the intelligence that we have and being transformed or translated into a system, algorithm, and then it's supposed to help us to solve problems. But not all problems need to have intelligence. Need to have artificial intelligence. If the problem is simple, maybe you can use your own intelligence, your own diligence, your own experience, knowledge to solve that. But when it comes to complex tasks that is being done repeatedly, like 24 hours, 7 days a week, so we want to make sure that the performance is at the top, regardless of the time, of the weather, of the whatever factors influence. We want it to be almost error-free. So that is where AI comes in, solving a complex problem. For example, understanding languages, mixed languages. For now, I don't understand Minang yet, but probably with the help of AI in the near future, it can translate what does it mean in a very simple, language, English or Malay. So basically, at the end, it is about making decisions. And I'm sure for mechanical engineers, that is the top that you have to make sure when you suggest a decision, it has to be a very reasonable, rational, acceptable, and the best option that you can have in solving any problem that you have in hand. Okay, next. So there are a few terms. You don't have to memorize all, But because we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence, you might come across with all these terms, okay, many times. So we start off with AI. It was already coined in back in 1950s. You know, it's not a new thing. Okay? Even though people are talking about AI, in Malaysia, we have our first faculty of AI in UTM. But before that, a long time before that, we already have the subjects on AI, you know, all the related knowledge in AI. But maybe to go in line with the direction of the country, of the world, we have this faculty of AI, the first one in Malaysia. So it was already, you know, early 1950s already there. But as the time goes by, the knowledge become more advanced, the problems become more complex. So the algorithm also have been modified, upgraded, changed, and we see it start to coin in new terms. Okay, so we have, for example, machine learning. Many of you are familiar with this, and you have been using this to solve your mechanical problems. And then it start to go into the new advanced level of deep learning. Okay, so it is still learning. We teach the computers to learn how to make the solution better, how to understand the rules, the very complex rules to solve complex problem. And the term deep itself tells us that it has to be, you know, very heavy programming, heavy computation. Yeah. And from there, we see that advancement has moved to another level. So we have generative AI. Okay. The AI itself now becomes autonomous. It can generate so many different answers to so many different people asking the same questions. So you can see the level of intelligence has been upgraded, have been like almost human. Okay? Or maybe sometimes we feel like when you talk to ChatGPT, you feel like it is more human, you know, very polite, you know. If you remember, if you notice, whatever you say or you ask, it will use the word please. It will say the word thank you. It will never say the harsh word, you know. So it's very polite. So that is the human that we want to develop. Yeah? Very nice, polite, and it can answer almost everything that you ask. But of course, we have to remember it's still artificial. Yeah? And we cannot take it 100%. So how do we make sure that when you have the result produced by this AI, you still to validate them. You still to verify that it is acceptable, you know, correct, yeah, free of errors. Okay, next. Okay, so when we go into this mechanical engineering field, we see there are a few challenges that happen from time to time that trigger us to look for the new solution. Okay? So maybe, for example, I think having the climate change intensify from time to time, it creates and it motivates especially the engineers, mechanical engineers, to come up with new solution, a better one to deal with the very uncertain environment, you know, factors that affect the situation. Yeah. Okay. So we see that with the climate changes, it will actually affecting so many things around us. You know, for example, the health, how we deal with it, you know, maybe the new disease that actually occur, and the way we deal with agriculture is no longer the same as we have before. And also it will affect the forest, yeah? And of course the water resources, and so on. So everything has changed because of this climate changes, and it triggers us to look for new solution. Okay, next. So it says that I came up with this, found this, the International Energy I can see agency, yeah. It announced that by 2050, for example, the demand for the energy is expected to increase by 50%. That's quite big. So how will that affect the running of energy supply in our country, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in South Asia, in the Asia as a whole, of course there will be effect. And so that's also another, challenge that triggers a new solution. Okay, next. Okay, and we see that, the mechanical engineering field is actually driving a new way of how the industry, the transportation, the life in the city or in the urban change. Okay? And of course, with the increase of, the different cars, the many cars, sometimes we see many cars than human, especially in Kuala Lumpur, I think. Every car has only one person. So imagine if we have 1 million going out to the offices, we have 1 million cars on the road. So how that will affect, the environment, the energy to be consumed, and the emission of the carbon dioxide. Okay, next. So with that, we see how this new generation, coming in front of us with all the new solution to be more efficient. Where is it? To be more efficient, to be more accurate, and to be more intelligent. Yeah. It's gone. Stand by. Okay, so we see that is where the AI is actually coming in as a potential solution. Yeah, and it's emerging as the enabler. Yeah, that will actually help us to address all the above problems. Yeah. Okay, so the IEA says that with this global, changes, the issue of sustainable, it requires a transformation of how the engineers design, operate, and maintain the mechanical systems in the day-to-day running. Yeah? So I believe you are the main key people that will produce that, the very optimized solution. Okay, next. So we see that now from, traditional way of solving things, we are moving to more intelligent solution. Yeah? And this, of course, has transformed the way mechanical engineering do things. Okay, for example, you move to smart system as a solution, and now we need to include this sustainable intelligence. So these are the few key words that we believe must be in the elements as the part of the elements of solution proposed by mechanical engineers. One, it has to be optimizing the solution. Second, it should be able to predict what will happen, how it's going to affect the machine. And third, the design must have element of intelligence. A decision that made is much better than the previous solution. And fourth, it has to be autonomous. It should be able to do things automatically with the minimum intervention of human. Okay, so we will see that as we move into the new era of, they call it Industry 5.0, Society 5.0, the evolution has changed the way we deal with things. Yeah? We need to have a computer that be able to communicate with human. For example, at the bottom, maybe one day, the kids are no longer home. We have the, the elders at home, so they need to communicate with someone so that they are less stressed, less depressed. So probably this will happen, in the future. So it has to be automated, autonomous. It has to have all these features. Okay, next. So first, when we talk about optimization, I've been reading many papers that being produced by mechanical engineers. Of course, they have this optimization. in place in the solution that they produce. Okay? So when we say optimize, means that we want to have a solution that is smarter and it learns the changes, better. And of course, at the same time, optimize means it's going to use less energy, faster, less time, and less waste. Yeah. So if we notice that nowadays the machines that we have as part of the device solution, it has all this. Yeah, it has sensors. So these sensors will produce input to the system, and how the inputs are actually being captured, being utilized in the process of developing for example, the model, the AI models will actually affect the decision that will be produced by the system. So we can imagine that I'm sure as engineers you have all the rules to produce a good system, a good output. So we have, for example, what if let's say you have so many thousands of rules, so we need to come up or to optimize the best solution. We have to try it all rigorously. So this actually means that we are actually optimizing the solution, finding the best, we can say sweet spot, the sweet spot of the proposed solution. Okay, next. So the key enabler as the prediction means that the solution that we propose must have this ability to predict. So in computer science also, we have many PhD students doing some focus of research related to predicting, because when we can predict, anything that we can predict will help the users, will help the community, will help the country to perform things better. We can predict when the road will be affected by the use of the consumers, will determine how much budget will be decided by the government and how long the budget must be ready. So all this about prediction. So we want the solution to have this prediction element features that it helps to avoid failures. It can deal with the very high demand of the society, and of course it will deal with the very uncertain behavior of the system. Oops. So just imagine if, let's say, we have biomedical engineers, if they can propose a solution that can help the doctors to predict, looking at that patient, features, properties, can we predict that the possibility of he having a heart attack, for example, in matter of time, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So all these are possible if the data is readily available and very in a very high quality to be proposed and used by the AI models. Okay, next. Okay, about the design, it has to have the intelligence element, whereby it is able to generate different kind of designs based on the different specifications. Based on the materials involved. It can also deal with so many constraints that we have, to consider in the solution. So the generative design is something that very handy, because it can generate or it can propose so many different solutions depending on the situations. Okay, next. Okay, last is the enabler element is having the autonomous, meaning that we now have systems that must deal with real-time changes. So anything that can be captured live, for example, data is on the live data stream, it will help the system to come up with the best decision, because it is a real-time data. So how do we deal with proposing a solution that able to capture this real life data? Okay, next. So we see some applications that already in place that have utilized this artificial intelligence technology. For example, we see the additive manufacturing of 3D printing. It manipulates or it has benefited from AI where it can optimize the design, and also it can be self-corrected. So these are example of the big company that have been using AI in optimizing the design of manufactured the device. Okay, next. Another application is we see that to handle the maintenance of the system, of the machines, it has to have this predictive ability. So when we need to have the predictive ability, it needs to have a lot of data of the real time, of the changes that occur every second, every minute. And having this data captured, we need to have a device. For example, when we think of the inputs that are affected by the the vibration scale, the temperature changes, the pressure that occur at that particular time, it will actually give us the better perspective of what will be the actions to be taken in order to reduce the damages, to minimize the damage. And we see there are some big companies that already apply this predictive maintenance. For example, Toyota and Petronas. So it's going to predict what will be the lifetime of the devices, of the machines, so that they can plan the budget well and avoid from having the shutdown that is actually happening suddenly. Okay, next. So another application is being employed by big companies or by many areas of engineering is the digital twin technology. So this is where we have something like, I put here, having a virtual twin, a virtual twin brother or sister of the solution of machine that we have, but we have it on the soft side first, and all the rigorous testing is done before the actual one is being developed. So this digital twin technology is the one that is being getting more attentions on helping to develop, for example, big complex buildings, ships, and so on. Okay, next. Okay, so there are many applications that actually apply this AI to have the energy efficiency applied. And many systems that have this heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system as part of the solution, the structure of the solution, they go for this to make sure that the energy being saved at the minimum and avoid loss, because that will trigger the cost impact on the company. Okay, right. So having for example, ChatGPT is using servers, and every time we ask prompt, it's actually forcing the server to work. And just imagine the whole world is actually giving prompt, for example, to the server of we say ChatGPT, for example. So it's actually using, forcing the server to work harder. So we can imagine having a car. Maybe when we ask simple question, the prompt is like you want to walk 100 meters, but you don't want to walk. You use your car. So you are actually putting more, I would say, waste on the car, fuel, energy, and the cost of the emission of carbon dioxide being released. So everything that we do will actually have an effect on this overall energy efficiency. Okay, next. And of course, having this idea of green mobility, I believe is one of the key focus in the mechanical engineering field. And having for example, the battery management will save a lot of energy, and it will affect the transportation field. I think is one of the focus by many big companies. And I don't know, I just saw this on internet. In Indonesia, it applies this digital twin technology. So probably you know better than me in your own country. And I believe that we are moving towards that. Okay, next. However, we see all the positive sides of the AI, but we cannot forget also everything that comes in, even the solar, it gives us benefit, but at the same time, of course, we need to deal with the other side of the coin. What if the solar has already been reaching the lifetime? What do we do with these solar panels? So that's also another question being discussed. So again, with the AI, for example, we want to use AI. Everyone is looking for AI-based solution, AI-driven solution. But we need to remember, it's not just simply we use AI. We need to make sure that data for AI is like a fuel that sparks the engine, for example. It's very important. We have good data, then we have a good decision, good model being developed. So having a data quality is always a problem. So I'm sure many of you have worked with AI. So for example, we try to work with hospital. We are trying to get all the data of the patients. It's not that easy. I can speak on Malaysia side. It's not that easy. There are issues of confidentialities. There are issues of having the good data being captured, because it's like everywhere. Every department, they have their own way of keeping data. Always a problem to get a quality data. And for the practitioners, they need to have the skills. For example, mechanical engineer, you need to know how actually AI works, how to develop the AI model in addressing your problem, and how to deploy that in the real environment. So we need to have that gap being filled in, understand. So that is another, I would say, challenge. And also, remember, when we deal with AI, it has to have a computing infrastructure. It has to have the devices. It has to have the cloud. So this will actually consume more energy. And now they are talking about the servers should be put in under the water because it need to cool down. And I found this, for example, this is ChatGPT 3. Now we have ChatGPT. What version? 5, 5. But it says that for GPT-3, the energy that is needed to keep the server on, for example, with that 1.3 what WH is enough electricity to power 120 US homes for a year. So remember, every time we ask a prompt, it's actually use up energy. So we imagine how that will affect the world in the next years to come and so on. Okay, and having this idea of green AI is actually also a big issue there. You want to develop using so many AI models. Which one is better? Which one is more efficient? If you want to use edge computing, which one is the best? How is going to be integrated? So those are the issues that we need to confront to make sure that when we apply AI, it is of the best solution. Okay, next. Okay, so the key principles is we need to have a solution AI that is, having these features of responsible AI. And the mechanical systems that you develop integrating AI, how do we make sure that it is responsibly enough to make sure that it's not bringing damage more to environment, to people around us, and so on. So of course, first we have to make sure that the solution is rigorously tested. We not just simply develop one night of model AI and then apply or deploy to the real solution. No, it has to be very rigorously tested, validated, verified. And one term that you might come across is explainable AI. So when AI model give you a decision, we need to see what is actually the reasoning behind that. So their algorithm must be able to have their own or its own justification to explain why the decision has been reached. That's why when you use ChatGPT, for example, you just ask, let's say, 2 plus 3 times 3, what's the answer? Then ChatGPT will answer like, how long? I think more than 1 page, because it has this element of explainable AI. It's trying to come up with justification. Why do I say that 1 plus 1 is 2? Even though it's simple, but that's how the algorithm works. So we can imagine how much energy has been used to come up with these reasons or explanation. But again, we need to make sure that when we apply AI, we have to have this element of explainable AI. Okay? Yeah, okay. All right, so we have the ethics, which I think must be also complied. Okay, next. So the way forward, we believe that we need to, of course, combine this AI element, but again, we need to look for the challenges that will affect how we sustain the solution. Okay, next. So we want to build the future with the new technology, new AI, but we need to make sure that it is being done wisely, because we don't want to bring damage, catastrophe to the environment, to the people around us, to the society. So it is calling for ethical engineering. Okay, next. So I would like to attract your attention is how actually AI is used for the bad faith, for the bad use. So this has been discussed how actually it is used, by this in the war. It is for precision, but that precision is used wrongly. It brings damage than good. Even though we say that AI should be more human, but in this case it brings more damages. Okay, so we need to bring the awareness to the people who come up with the AI solution. Okay, next. Okay, so as a conclusion, I think it's not about replacing, it's not about replacing the engineers, but we want to equip with the new technology that actually will produce a sustainable solution to help the community, the country, and the world. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, I think that basically that's all. So I hope that you get a good sharing on this. With that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Can you sit here, accompanying Professor Hendra give a speech? All right, ladies and gentlemen, because we have limited time, I think we go next to our next keynote speaker, Professor Hendra Hermawan from University of Nahwal. So, Professor Hendra, can you join me right now?
Yes, can you hear me
clearly? Clear for me. So,
That's
can you speak, please? Hendra?
Yes.
So
should I share my slide or you
can share your slide?
My slide from here?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Because we have limited time. I think you have around 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just give a summary or something like that.
Okay, so the sharing is still disabled. Okay, now I think it will be fine. So can you see my screen?
All right, it's clear from here.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Ismet, for the introduction. Glad to see you fresh and healthy. I thank you so much, Dr. Oknovia Susanti, for inviting me to this important conference. I really wish to be there in person and shake hands with many people I know. I see from the camera at least Professor Mefal Rusli and Professor Ahmad Kafrawi. So tonight from Quebec City, I would like to share with you a work of my PhD student on the electrochemical and surface characterization of TIHF, ZR, and BX hydropy alloys, or HEAs, as bipolar plates for proton exchange membrane water electrolyzer, or PMWE. So this will be a 12 pages presentation, and I dedicate this presentation to my collaborator, the late Professor Femiana Gapsari from Universitas Brawijaya. This chart from the US Department of Energy illustrate the different energy sources we currently use and the different ways we use them. Most of the energy currently used is derived from fossil fuel, which due to carbon emission make the process non-renewable. However, if we want to increase the share of energy derived from renewable source, we also need an efficient and effective energy carrier to be able to transport and store massive amount of energy. This is where hydrogen plays an important role. If we use intermittent renewable energy sources, particularly solar and wind, there is obviously a mismatch between the demand and supply of energy at certain periods. So with the hydrogen system, when there is surplus of renewable energy, we can use excess energy to produce hydrogen using electrolyzers, and we need to generate. And when we need to generate power, we can convert hydrogen to electricity using fuel cells. So we can consider hydrogen system as an energy production and storage technology. Not all hydrogen is green, but green hydrogen is primarily produced by water electrolysis using various electrolyzer technologies, whether it is low or high temperature, alkaline or acid processes, and with or without a membrane. Generally, they split water into hydrogen and oxygen using electrical energy, offering advantages and limitations. In this case, proton exchange membrane or PM technology is particularly promising thanks to its rapid reaction and the efficiency of its catalysts, such as platinum and iridium oxide, which explains its widespread adoption in commercial application. So my students' project focus specifically on this PAM type of electrolysis. A PAM electrolyzer consists of four main components: the anode, which is the oxygen side, where water is oxidized to produce molecular oxygen, protons, and electrons. The cathode, which is the hydrogen side, where protons passing through the membrane react with electrons supplied by an electrical energy source to form molecular hydrogen. The proton exchange membrane located at the center and allows a selective passage of protons from the anode to the cathode while blocking the mixing of the produced oxygen and hydrogen gases. And the famous bipolar plates that provides mechanical support, material transport, thermal conduction, and electrical conductivity. They are mostly made of titanium, but their durability is limited by degradation, needing frequent replacement. This is undesirable as the plates account for almost 50% cost of production for PM cells. And the harsh cell operating condition, which are upper potential up to twofold, high acidity down to pH 2, high temperature up to 80 degrees Celsius, and fluoride ions from membrane degradation, lead to severe corrosion, as shown in these images. The formed corrosion layer also contributes to high ohmic resistance, which compromise the conductivity of the bipolar plates. Nowadays, a family of alloys, commonly known as high entropy alloys or HEAs, has been attracting researchers in various domains, including energy application. Summarized in these HB diagrams, HEAs offer extraordinary mechanical properties and attractive corrosion resistance. HEAs are commonly composed of at least 4 elements at equimolar ratio, resulting in high entropy states that increase their susceptibility to form a crystalline structure. So by adjusting the composition of the elements or adding elements with specific properties, multiple alloys with varied properties can be obtained. And in this work, We use TI HFZR NBX alloys with X representing molar ratio of 0.2, 0.3, and 0.4. So as an illustration for TI HFZR NB 0.4, the composition ratio in weight percent will be 13.5% TI, 25.7% ZR, 50.3% HF, and 10.5% NB. So this is not ordinary alloys as we know. With a general hypothesis that the alloys could be an ideal material for bipolar plates, we designed the following corrosion assessment strategy. We aim at determining the electrochemical characteristic of HEAs in this solution that simulate the operating condition of a PM, and revealing the oxide film formation process and passivation dissolution mechanism, while also defining the role of NB to the process. We employed electrochemical techniques, including open circuit potential, electrochemical impedance spectroscopy, cyclic potentiodynamic polarization, potentiostatic polarization, and Moss-Schottky analysis. And we implemented the analysis, complemented the analysis with scanning electron microscope, atomic force microscopy, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, and microwave plasma atomic emission spectroscopy. I'm showing here the schematic of AFM ACCM just to show you that we have an ongoing work on the alloys using this AFM-based scanning electrochemical microscopy to further define the role of each element in the alloys. This collection of electrochemical test result shows the graphs of open circuit potential, cyclic potentiodynamic polarization, and electrochemical impedance spectroscopy in the form of Nyquist and body diagrams. It may seem too charging, so let me guide you to this table. After analyzing all this graph, we can focus on some important parameters. So, for example, based on polarization resistant RP, we found that the HEAs exhibit about 600 times, in general, 600 times higher polarization resistance than commercially pure titanium, with the highest value achieved at almost 800 kilo ohm centimeter square for TIHFZ and NB02. And this led to a sharp contrast in the value of current density, corrosion current density, where a value of about 800 microampere per centimeter square was measured for the CPTI versus only about 1 microampere per square centimeter for the TIHFZRNB02. This reflects a superior corrosion resistance of the alloys compared to titanium. And the further confirmation by the AS result indicates the higher values of film resistance R1 and charge transfer resistance R2 of the HEA than those of titanium, while their capacitance or CPA values are lower. All these measures indicates the presence of a dense passive film on the HEAs. The AI's result also indicate a tendency of the HEA to form passive film easier, and that their film resistance and charge transfer resistance decreases and the NB content increases. So in summary, from all these electrochemical results, the HEA resists to polarization 600 times more than CPTI, leading to a sharp contrast in the value of corrosion current density, thus reflecting a far superior corrosion resistance of the HEAs. Higher NB content does not lead to higher corrosion resistance in this case. You found a SEM observation on the surface morphology of the specimen before and after subjected to potential static polarization test. We found evidence of severe heating corrosion on the titanium. In contrast, the surface of HEAs were free of any sign of observable localized corrosion, which could be related to the repassivation process as indicated by the negative hysteresis on their polarization graph. On the physicochemistry characteristic of the passive film, the Moss-Schottky analysis represented by these graphs of inverse charge transfer versus potential indicates the behavior of passive film on the HEA that acts like an N-type semiconductor. After some calculation detailed in this table, the HEA exhibit about 10 times lower electron donor density than CPTI, which align with the finding on their lower charge transfer resistance. The table also indicates here that NB has no clear role in influencing the passivation index as indicated by this dielectric constant. And results from the XPS indicate that the formed passive film was composed of TiO2, ZrO2, HFO2, which are metal oxides known for having N-type semiconductor behavior. The result also indicate an absence of NB2O5 on the top surface of TiHFZr NB02 and NB03. And then to evaluate the solution rate, which supposed to be very low as the alloys are highly corrosion resistant, we use an approach involving three techniques. First, potentiostatic polarization, where the HEA's specimen were subjected to static polarization for a period of 2 hours at 2 volt, which is a potential higher than their pitting potential to ensure that some degree of corrosion occurs on the specimens. Second, AFM imaging and profilometry, where we obtain these clear images and surface roughness profile. And three, measurement of NB ions in the solution after polarization using an MPEIS. As the result, we measure the highest roughness on the surface of the IHFZR NB04 and managed to observe a sign of corrosion on its grain boundaries. So this is in the nanometric scale. We also detected the highest dissolved NB concentration in the solution of the TiHZR at HFZR NB 0.4. We therefore made the following conclusions. Our combined electrochemical test and surface characterization were able to reveal the oxide film formation process and passivation dissolution mechanism of complex alloys such as these TiHFZR and BX high entropy alloys. We found that the electrochemical performance of these HEAs purely relies on the nature of the form passive film. The passive film exhibits 600 times higher corrosion resistance than that of titanium in these aggressive solutions. Acid sulfuric with fluoride ions at 70 degrees Celsius. Hafnium, zirconium, niobium form a dense passive film consisting of these oxides that behaves like an N-type semiconductor with low donor electron density. As NB2O5 was absent from the top surface of the lower content high entropy alloys, lower NB content high entropy alloys, it seems that niobium only have a minor role toward passivation. Therefore, we could consider these HEAs as an alternative materials to titanium for durable and efficient bipolar plates in a PEMWE system. Finally, I do not forget to acknowledge the support from the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada, who provided us with operating grants, the Canada Foundation for Innovation, who sponsored the acquisition of AFM SCCM, the Quebec Network of Intelligent Energy for funding this project, and our collaborators at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, who provided us with HEA samples. And before I close my presentation, I would like to invite everyone to the annual Canadian Material Science Conference, which will be held next year in Quebec City, in my hometown right now. And the call for abstract will open soon. Thank you so much for the attention. I hope I saved some time for the next presenters.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Hendra. In planning, we actually have more keynote speaker, who Professor Yoshiko from Gifu University. But on behalf of committee, I would do apologize, but because we cannot match our time with Professor Yoshiko, so I think I could terminate the session speech from here, and we can move to question and answer session. Before that, I would like to thank to Professor Hendra and Professor Zaitun for the fascinating speech in this keynote session. So actually we have run out of our time, but I still give an opportunity 2 questions for all of the participants, which you can deliver to Professor Zaitun or Professor Hendra. Yeah. And remind you, just put your name and to who you deliver your question. All right, I invite participant to deliver the question. Yeah. The first one probably from Professor Agustanto. Yeah, please, Professor Agustanto.
Thank you. One question for Professor Siti. Thank you for your presentation. Nice presentation. So mechanical engineering is traditionally about material, machine, and process. But today, now we should integrate that data-driven AI system. Maybe this is our challenge for today mechanical engineering. So the question is how to bridge the gap between the digital model in AI in our physical system. I mean the mechanical system. So I am from University of Andalas, the host university. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Okay, I think there was one slide that I put up just now to see the reality, the gaps that might occur because of this need of AI knowledge to be imparted to the engineers, which we believe that it's not just this field of mechanical engineering. I think it's the same for other domains, medical, economics, financials. Now we are looking for the AI-driven solution. I believe that, of course, the first step is to get understanding of the minimum is how AI works. Yeah, how AI works, what kind of data that actually will be good enough for the AI model to be developed. Maybe you do not have to understand everything about the algorithms, but you need to understand how actually AI works on the surface. Okay, you want to say something?
For our university, our curriculum, our education, mechanical. So this is a gap today. Actually, in Indonesia, this is a gap between AI in mechanical engineering. There is no, maybe there are some subject how to integrate AI in our mechanical engineering systems. So this is our challenge for the future. Thank you.
So, maybe to start off with generating, producing students that have this understanding of AI academically. So what we are doing in the university, in UTM, at first, not all faculties offer this course of AI. And of course, machine learning, deep learning. But now, with the reviews of the curriculum, every faculty has now offered to the students at least few courses view courses on AI, and they can actually solve a problem in their particular field with the understanding of AI model. So I think maybe that's the initiative that must be done at the curriculum department level to make sure that every student that graduates will have the understanding of how AI can be embedded in the solution that they need to produce in their own field. Okay, thank you. Will that yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor. I would like to invite one last question. Yeah, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mukhtar from Universitas Indonesia, and I would like to ask to Professor Siti Zaiton about the artificial intelligence, and maybe this topic is related with my dissertation. I will ask to, do you have any experience or maybe UTM experience about the comparative between AI and thermodynamic simulation, especially in the internal combustion? I want to see the performance of engine and emission comparative with the AI and the internal combustion thermodynamic simulation, like as ANSYS or FLBoost or etc. Do you have any experience about that? And the second question is it possible if we use AI to predict about the biofuel in engine, and we prediction about the performance the biofuel in engine? Is it possible with AI? And what do you use to maybe the machine learning or deep learning, maybe the best AI to use the prediction to the performance engine? Yeah, maybe that's question. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you for the question. If I'm not mistaken, the question is on how AI can be supported by the computational tools. What tools is it? And the second one is apa tu?
If I want to predict the engine performance simulation with the biofuel, if you use biofuel to the engine, you want to predict the result. Is it AI? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. With maybe little knowledge that I have. Of course, if you realize, I think for MATLAB, for example, I remember when I used MATLAB, I saw this article. It says MATLAB for engineering. Yeah. So it's different if, let's say, the MATLAB is used by the computer science people, because we go to the deep of programming. But for engineers, I think they are more concerned of producing the result. Yeah. You don't need to know the very detail of the programming and so on and so forth. So the same here. To embed the AI, you need to know maybe few basic models, which actually now they have tools already. So you can actually pick any tool that maybe meet with your budget, with the resources, human resources that you have, the minimum knowledge that they have. They can actually pick the one that suits with the problem. But of course, nowadays, if you notice, we have many new professions like AI engineers. We have like machine learning engineers, and of course, deep learning engineers. So meaning that the engineering has become a very core of AI itself. But for the minimum, I think you can actually utilize any AI tools as long as it fits with the problem that you are solving. And again, I have to emphasize that we need to have some basic understanding of what data can be used by the AI model that is enough for it to learn and make a decision. What more if it is about predicting? Okay, so for the computational side, because my my colleague has reminded me. Okay, the computational side. Now that we are using cloud, for example, we sometimes can afford to buy the GPU, which actually costs sometimes hundreds of thousands ringgit or dollars. Even we have problems in UTM to provide that platform with the GPU servers that allow the students to actually run their solution. So we need to rely on, for example, Google Cloud, which is the Google Colab, for example. So that is, I think, the minimum that we can use. And of course, if you want to pay for the advanced level of Google Colab, you can have an extra service of, getting the more capacity of the model that you develop. Yeah? And also, of course, they offer more privilege. So again, it's a money matters. But you can start with the basic. Yeah. So it's the subscription that we can do, the list. But if the university has enough budget, they can actually develop, the platform, having a good GPU servers, that can accommodate the millions of data to be processed. Okay, I think that's the list that we can have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Zaitan. I think our time is off. So I would like again to thank to all of our keynote speaker who has already enlightened and share with us the new knowledge and idea about something that we can use to improve our mechanical engineering area. So I think this is my time right now to close this session. Beforehand, I would like to apologize if there is an unacceptable and mistake have been made during my leads. So I would hand over my session to the committee. Thank you.
And let's give an applause for this incredible discussion plenary, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for our moderator. And of course, we invite the Professor Siti Zaitun to take a place in front of the stage and receive the token of appreciation from Secretary General of BKSTM Indonesia, Professor Aryo, and also from our chairmen of the Isaime and Snttm, Ibu Dr. Oknovia Susanti. And now we giving the token of appreciation. First of all, from Secretary General BKSTM Indonesia to our keynote speakers, Professor Siti Zaitun from University Technology Malaysia. All right, thank you so much. And now, please, from our Chairman of this International Symposium and Seminar Nasional SNTTM 2025, to our keynote speakers, Professor Siti Zaitun. The last one from our chairman, the certificate as the appreciation for our keynote speakers, Professor Siti Zaitun from GTM. And now we invite our moderator to take a place and also to have a photo session with the Secretaries General of BKSTM and Chairman of this International Symposium and keynote speakers. Let's be giving and takes the moment in 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please to back to your beginning position. And ladies and gentlemen, let's giving applause for this incredible moment. Thank you so much for our moderator and also keynote speakers. And thank you so much for Secretary General of BKSTM Indonesia and also the chairman of this international symposium. And of course, we have to say thank you so much for Professor Hendra from Canada that also joining us in this international symposium. And also we hope for Professor Hendra can visit us live from Padang, West Sumatra, Indonesia. Thank you so much, Prof. Hendra. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we will move to the next agenda. It's gonna be parallelizations has begun. Untuk Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian dapat kami informasikan dalam parallelization kali ini baik untuk Isaime dan juga SNTTM 2025 akan terbagi menjadi beberapa parallel room. Terdapat 6 room yang sudah terpisah dan sudah disiapkan oleh masing-masing panitia untuk Isaime room 1 hingga 6. Dan untuk Isaime room 7 berada di dalam ballroom ini. Kemudian untuk SNTTM 12 berada di dalam ballroom ini dan 34 juga sudah disiapkan oleh panitia kami. Dari pihak kami, dari panitia sudah menyediakan LO masing-masing room. Bapak Ibu disilakan untuk bersiap-siap dan terkhususnya bagi para presenter that joining us in this international symposium and also the seminar national, please to be prepared and read carefully your shortlisted name by your room or in this international symposium. Sekali lagi kami mengundang bagi Bapak Ibu para presenter sebelumnya dapat mengecek terlebih dahulu dan membaca masing-masing nama dan juga list nama yang sudah disediakan oleh panitia kami, baik untuk Isaime yaitu room 1 hingga room 7 dan juga SNTTM untuk room 1 hingga room 4 nantinya. Kami silakan kepada Bapak Ibu presenter untuk dapat segera dan juga menuju ke ruangan paralel karena tim LO kami dan pihak moderator juga sudah bersiap-siap dan menunggu di masing-masing parallel room. Dan tentunya kembali ya, Deo, kita ucapkan terima kasih banyak and we have to say thank you so much for our sponsorship, that partnership is always joining us and also support us for this incredible moment. Thank you so much for LPPM Universitas Andalas.
And thank you so much from PT Semen Padang.
Thank you so much for PT PLN Persero.
And thank you so much for Telkom Indonesia
And
for supporting us.
yes, of course, and also for our ladies and gentlemen, all the participants in BKSTM Indonesia and also in this international symposium. Dear ladies and gentlemen, after parallelization, we have to break. Dan untuk itu, kepada Bapak Ibu, setelah nantinya room paralel berakhir, masing-masing room, kita akan masuk pada sesi Isoma. Namun sebelum itu kami silakan kepada Bapak Ibu untuk dapat sembari mengunjungi tenan-tenan wirausaha dan juga UMKM yang sudah kami sediakan tentunya di depan dari Ballroom Santika Hotel Premier Kota Padang ini. Dan tentunya besar harapan kita semua dan sampaikan terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu atas partisipasinya. Kami silakan kepada para presenter untuk dapat segera memasuki ruangan paralel sesuai dengan Isaime ataupun juga SNTTM yang sudah disediakan. Dan tentunya sudah disiapkan juga para LO kami, tim LO kami dari pihak panitia juga sudah siap menyambut Bapak Ibu dalam rangkaian presentations dan juga parallelizations for each room in this Isaime and also for the SNTTM 2025.
Dan Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, di barisan luar sudah kami sediakan beberapa tenan-tenan dari UMKM kami. Dan bagi Bapak Ibu yang ingin membeli oleh-oleh, tidak perlu jauh-jauh karena kami sudah menyediakan berbagai UMKM. Lengkap, ada cemilan berupa keripik, kemudian kami juga menyediakan aksesoris seperti songket, broska Sumatera Barat, songket Minang maupun sendal sulam.
Benar sekali dan tentunya kami harapkan kepada Bapak Ibu yang nantinya berada di dalam ballroom ini untuk Isaime dan juga SNTTM juga dapat langsung menempati tempat yang telah disediakan sesuai dengan paralel ataupun juga room yang telah disediakan nantinya. Untuk masing-masing shortlisted name, Bapak Ibu bisa langsung mengkonfirm kepada panitia kami. Kembali kami informasikan kepada Bapak Ibu, bagi Bapak Ibu yang roomnya terutama room paralel untuk Isaime 7 berada di dalam ballroom dari Hotel Santika Premier Kota Padang ini. Dan terkhusus untuk SNTTM baik dari room 1 hingga room 5 juga berada di dalam ballroom ini. Sehingga bagi Bapak Ibu yang nantinya mengikuti dan terdaftar di dalam room 7 Isaime dan juga SNTTM room 1 hingga 5 tetap berada di dalam ruangan ini dan menempati sesuai dengan paralel ataupun juga room yang telah disediakan oleh panitia nantinya. Kami silakan kepada Bapak Ibu untuk dapat terlebih dahulu mengecek nama-nama masing-masing presenter yang hadir langsung di Hotel Santika Premier Kota Padang dan dapat langsung menuju pada LO ataupun juga room yang telah disediakan nantinya. Dan Bapak Ibu dapat kami informasikan setelah nanti selesai dari masing-masing parallel session, Bapak Ibu kita akan langsung masuk pada sesi istirahat, sholat dan makan. Dan Bapak Ibu disilakan untuk kembali ke dalam room masing-masing paralel sesuai dengan jadwal yang telah ditentukan. Dan tentunya saya Nando beserta rekan saya.
Saya Nabila Siva Deo pamit.
Ya, kita akan kembali lagi nantinya pada saat closing ceremony tepat di Pantai Nirwana, Deo. Dan tentunya kita berharap Bapak Ibu semuanya dapat langsung bergabung bersama kami dalam rangkaian closing ceremony Isaime dan juga SNTTM 2025 langsung disiarkan dari Pantai Nirwana. Dan akhir kata, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.